How you doing, guys? I'm doing a beer review here. This is one sent to me by Maxwell Starr, Nick. Maxwell Starr's beer reviews. Big thanks to him. Especially appreciate this one because this is one I used to drink a lot back in the day when I was first getting into the craft brews. This is not a craft brew, but this is sort of something I drank alongside uh, craft brews while I was just sort of exploring and getting into them. And it was when I fondly remembered I had a glass for it. Um, Broke that glass because I'm a drunken idiot. But this is Maclay's traditional pale ale. It's um, the Thistle Brewery from Scotland. I don't think they exist anymore. I think this brand was basically bought up by Sleeman. If Maclay's still exists in the UK anywhere, let me know because I don't think they do anymore. I seem to recall there was a convoluted sort of history of this one where um, the brewery really didn't exist, but the brand still did, and Sleeman bought it up. But this was right around the time Sleeman bought up the Maritime Beer Company here in Nova Scotia. That was one of the first. Well, it wasn't one of the first. Well, yeah, it was one of the first craft brew, I guess maybe kind of crafty craft brew companies that sort of kick-started craft brewing in Nova Scotia, or at least brought it into the limelight and let other breweries like Propeller and Garrison and stuff start to build a base of customers and start to expand and get us to where we are today. So they're owed a bit of a debt to that company in a lot of ways. But Sleeman bought them out because they went bankrupt, and they made they held over a couple of their brands, and they made their own stuff, of course, and they made the Maclays. And Maclays was around in Nova Scotia for a little while, then it disappeared, and I was sad about that. But Nick sent this to me, so thank you, sir. I appreciate it. So looking at it here, try to generate a little head here. It is a very clear golden straw color. Not much of a head. Looks like a macro lager, pretty much. Go right to the aroma. Okay, so it's got a bit of a grainy, bready aroma to it. Maybe a slight bit of grassiness to it. Not a lot of sweetness. It straight up reminds me of Olin Export, which is essentially, North American export ales are essentially very lagerish versions of ales. They might still be brewed as ales, but they taste and smell so much like lagers that they're very much not distinct at all from lagers. I mean, it's pretty much the brewing process is the only difference. But so far as aroma and taste and appearance goes, you could classify them as lagers, really. But yeah, it smells a lot like Olin Export. Maybe a little less sweetness. Olin Export probably has a little bit more sweetness going on, but that's pretty much the only difference. So we'll go right to the taste. Cheers. You don't get a lot of the malt in the taste. It's very watery. Body's very light. Um, you get some hops in the back, a little bit of bitterness, a little bit of grassy taste. What malt you're picking up is just very slight breadiness. If you did, if you just went into this blind, you'd think it's a macro lager. Honestly, you would. Same with Olin Export. If you drank Olin Export in a blind taste test, I guarantee you would think it's a macro lager. It might not be brewed as a lager, but it is so close to macro lager, and this is the same thing. It's very close to a macro lager. Now, the only question after that is it close to a good macro lager or a bad macro lager? And this is very close to a good macro lager. Easy to drink, refreshing, no off flavors, nothing bad about it. I don't hate it at all. Does it hold up from my expectations of it from years ago? Probably not. I probably would have liked it a lot better back then than I do now. But I give it 3 out of 5. There's nothing wrong with it. I mean, if this was still brewed and sent to Nova Scotia here, I'd be buying it all the time. I mean, I'm not above buying macro lagers and easy to drink pale ales that taste like macro lagers and shit. I mean, some people might get the wrong impression from a lot of my videos where I shit on really crappy macro lagers and stuff, but I mean, I do appreciate this stuff. I like it. I can drink it. And if I could get Maclays all the time, I would probably drink it all the time. And yeah, so I'm going to go 3 out of 5. Maclay's traditional pale ale. Don't expect a pale ale. If you have in your fucking mind what pale ale is to you, you know, you probably think you're thinking super, well, not super, but you know, at least some sort of hoppy ale with a good malt base balancing it out and all that shit. No. Pretty much macro lager. Tastes like a macro lager. If you're looking for a good tasting macro lager, Maclay's. 3 out of 5. Thank you, Nick. Appreciate being able to revisit this one and finally review it. And, okay, guys, fuck off. Have a good day.